Football coaching is subjective. There are always new, flavor of the month, trends. This is because coaching is based on opinions and experiences, not on objective facts. We need an objective and universal football theory. This theory would be based on the fundamental characteristics of the game. These fundamentals are the same for every player in the world, regardless of playing level, age, gender, or culture. The KNVB has been working on this theory since the 1980s. They believe that a fundamental theory of football is essential for improving coaching and player development. A fundamental theory of football would limit itself to the game itself. It would not focus on the players or external influences. Clear communication is essential for describing what occurs on the football field in an objective and universal manner. This would allow coaches and players from all over the world to communicate effectively about the game. Football is a game that is often discussed and analyzed, both by fans and by experts. The language used to describe football is not always clear or consistent. This can lead to confusion, especially when the language is used to transfer football knowledge to coaches or players. There are a few things that can be done to improve the clarity of football language, such as developing a standard set of terms and providing more training in the use of the language. Experts from outside of football should learn to speak the language of football before they try to communicate with football coaches. Football fitness should be taught in football language, rather than in the jargon of fitness science. Communication is essential for effective coaching, and using the language of football can help to achieve this. Isolated approach is ineffective, confusing, alienating, fitness and psychology isolated from football training. Holistic approach. Start with football, ask experts in football language, get relevant information back to football. Language plays a crucial role in holistic approach. Football coaches need to communicate with experts in football language. The lack of clarity in football language is a barrier to effective communication and learning. Other professions, such as piloting and surgery, have clear and objective language, which is essential for safety. Football coaches should adopt a similar approach, and develop a common football theory with a clear structure and definition for specific terms. This would make it easier for coaches to communicate with each other and to learn from each other's experiences. What is the difference between the physical and mental aspects of football performance? Some people believe that the mind and body are two separate entities, but is this really the case? In reality, the mind and body are closely interconnected. The way we think, feel, and behave all affect our physical performance. So, the next time you're on the field, remember that your mind and body are working together to help you win. How does the language that coaches use affect the way that football problems are solved? If coaches use general and abstract language, then their players may not be able to understand what they need to do in order to solve the problem. For example, if a coach says that a striker is lacking initiative, then the striker may not know what the coach means. However, if the coach says that the striker needs to make more runs in behind the defense, then the striker will know exactly what he needs to do. Therefore, it is important for coaches to use specific and objective language when describing football problems. This will help their players to understand what they need to do in order to solve the problem and improve their performance. What are the three main things that teams do in football? Teams in football do three main things: attack, defend, and transition. Attacking is when a team tries to score goals. They do this by passing the ball around quickly and creating space in the opponent's defense. Defending is when a team tries to prevent the other team from scoring goals. They do this by keeping possession of the ball, forcing the opponent to make mistakes, and closing down passing and shooting lanes. Transitioning is when the ball changes possession. Teams need to quickly adjust from attacking to defending or vice versa. By understanding these three main things, coaches and players can be more effective in their game. Hey guys, in this reel I'm going to talk about the logical structure of football actions. This is a concept that's been developed by Dutch coach Kees van Wonderen, and it's a really helpful way to think about the game. What is the logical structure of football actions? Basically, it's a way of categorizing all the different things that players do on the field. There are four main categories. Communication. This includes both verbal and non-verbal communication. Players need to be able to communicate effectively with their teammates and coaches in order to play the game well. Game insight. This is the ability to understand the game and make good decisions. Players need to be able to see what's happening on the field and make the right choices in order to score goals and prevent them. Technique. This is the ability to perform the physical skills necessary to play football. Players need to be able to dribble, pass, shoot, and defend effectively in order to be successful. Fitness. This is the ability to play football at a high level for an extended period of time. Players need to be able to run, jump, and change directions quickly and easily in order to keep up with the game. So, there you have it. That's the logical structure of football actions. I hope this helps you understand the game a little bit better. Why is communication important in football? Communication is important in football because it allows players to coordinate their actions and avoid mistakes. For example, imagine you are a striker making a run into the penalty area. If you don't communicate with your teammates, they may not see you and the pass may be intercepted. Example, a player might yell, "through," to let their teammate know that they are open for a pass. Players can also communicate through non-verbal communication, such as eye contact, hand signals, or body language. For example, a player might point to the space where they want the ball passed. Overall, communication is an essential part of football. It allows players to coordinate their actions, build teamwork, and understand the team's tactical plan. Without communication, teams would be much less effective and would be more likely to make mistakes. Why is game insight so important in football? Game insight is important in football because it allows players to make better decisions in the game. This can lead to more scoring opportunities, less turnovers, and more effective defending. For example, if you have good game insight, you'll be able to see that your teammate is open for a pass, even if they're not in your direct line of sight. You'll also be able to see that the opponent is about to make a move, so you can anticipate their actions and make the right play. Here are the tips for improving your game insight. Watch and analyze football games. Play football regularly. Get coaching from a qualified coach. Practice visualization. Be aware of your surroundings. Think ahead. Be decisive. Learn from your mistakes. Be aware of your strengths and weaknesses. Be confident in your abilities. Be positive and motivated. Have fun. What is the difference between individual technique in football and artistic-oriented sports? In football, individual technique is the execution of a decision. In artistic-oriented sports, there is an ideal way to perform certain body movements, and athletes are scored based on how closely they adhere to this ideal. There is no such thing as an ideal, typical manner of body movements in football. The way that a football action is performed can vary depending on the situation in the game. Technique and game insight are closely linked. It is important to be able to adapt techniques to different situations. In short, individual technique in football is about being able to perform the right action in the right situation. It is not about following a set of predetermined movements. What is the role of football fitness in football performance? Football fitness is the ability to execute the playing style with a higher tempo and for 90 minutes. In other words, the role of fitness in football is to support the communication, decision-making, and technical execution of players. Football fitness is not something that can be trained in isolation from the other pillars of performance. The four components of football performance, communication, game insight, individual technique, and football fitness, are all related. The most fundamental component in football is the communication between players. Football fitness allows players to perform the process of communication, decision-making, and technical execution at the highest tempo for 90 minutes. Football fitness is an important part of football performance. By understanding the relationship between the four components, coaches can develop training programs that will help players improve their football fitness and overall performance. What is the difference between football theory and the way it is applied? Football theory is the foundation of football coaching, but how it is applied can vary depending on the context. Why is this important? Because understanding the difference can help coaches to be more objective in their coaching and make better decisions about how to coach their players. For example, a coach who believes that the most important thing in football is to win may be more likely to focus on training their players to be aggressive and to score goals. However, if the coach understands the fundamental characteristics of the game, they may realize that it is also important for their players to be able to pass the ball accurately and to defend well. This would lead the coach to train their players in a more balanced way. Conclusion: by understanding the difference between football theory and the way it is applied, coaches can be more objective in their coaching and make better decisions about how to coach their players. This can lead to improved performance and results.